The day my parents threw my clothes into the yard, the sun was shining like nothing was wrong. Birds were singing. Children on bicycles were laughing. But my heart felt like someone had reached inside my chest and twisted it. "Emily, you are not stepping back into this house," my mother shouted from the porch, her voice shaking with anger. I stood on the grass with tears slipping down my cheeks, holding the little suitcase I packed the night before. I had just turned 22 a month earlier, and I thought I was strong. But in that moment, I felt like a scared little girl again. "Mom, it's just a relationship," I whispered, trying not to cry harder. "Why are you doing this?" "Because he is a mistake," my dad yelled. "That boy will ruin your life." That boy. His name was Jason Miller. Tall, quiet, stubborn, and broke. But he had the sweetest smile, like sunshine slipping through a stormy sky. I met him at a grocery store when I dropped a can of soup on his foot. I apologized. He laughed. And somehow, we ended up talking for an hour in the parking lot while leaning on my car hood like two old friends. But my parents, they hated him from day one. "He has no future. He's not good enough. He will only drag you down." Yet somehow I believed in him, maybe too much. So when my parents gave me an ultimatum, leave him or leave this house, I chose Jason. And that decision changed my life in ways I never expected. As I picked up my clothes from the grass, thinking maybe I would collapse right there, a familiar blue truck pulled up at the curb. Jason jumped out, slammed the door, and rushed toward me. What happened?" he asked, grabbing my shaking hands. Before I could answer, my dad stepped forward. "You," he growled, "this is your fault." Jason didn't back up, he lifted his chin. "Sir, I love her, I didn't ask you to." "You love her," my mother cut in, scoffing. "With what? Good intentions and empty pockets." Jason's jaw tightened. I could feel the embarrassment burning through him like fire. And then my father said something that stabbed us both. "Emily, if you walk into that truck with him, we're done. You're no longer our daughter." Silence. I stared at my parents, the people who raised me, fed me, tucked me in at night. Their eyes were cold like strangers. I turned to Jason. His eyes were full of fear, but also full of hope. He whispered, "you don't have to choose. I'll find a way to fix this. I promise." But promises don't stop pain. I walked to his truck, and my parents shut the door behind me without saying goodbye. For the next 2 years, life was rough. Jason worked multiple jobs, washing dishes, lifting boxes in a warehouse, fixing old cars with his uncle. I worked too, but most days we barely made enough for rent. We argued. We cried. We held each other in the dark when everything felt too heavy. But through all of it, he kept saying the same thing. "One day, I'll make it. I don't know how, but I will." And one night, he came home with eyes full of fire. "I'm starting a business." I nearly choked on my cup noodles. A business? With what money? He grinned in that stubborn way he always did. With nothing, just an idea. That idea. A small delivery company. Just him, an old van, and a dream. For a long time, it looked like it would fail. But then something crazy happened. A rich restaurant owner hired him for weekly supply runs. Then 2 bakeries. Then a florist. Then, suddenly, the whole town knew Jason Miller Delivery Services. Money began to roll in. Then more. And more. He upgraded the van. Then bought 2 more. Then hired drivers. And just like that, my broke boyfriend became rich. But here's the part no one expected. One sunny morning, Jason woke me up and said, "Come with me, I have a surprise." He drove us to my parents' neighborhood. My heart dropped. We weren't speaking. They never called. They never texted. Not even when I was sick. And now Jason was driving straight to their house. When we parked, I gasped. Their old, falling apart house was gone. In its place stood a brand new, beautiful 2-story home with fresh paint, shiny windows, and a stone walkway. "What is this?" I whispered. Jason slipped his hands into his pockets. "I bought it," he said softly, "for them." I felt dizzy, confused, a little angry, and a whole lot speechless. "For them," I croaked. "Jason, they disowned me." He gave me a sad smile. "Maybe this will help fix things." Before I could respond, my parents stepped outside, eyes wide, mouths open, shocked beyond words. Mom covered her mouth. Dad dropped his coffee. And who did they run to? Jason. Not me. Not their daughter. Jason. "Oh my goodness, Jason," my mom cried, touching his arm like he was her son. "You did this. You bought this." Dad shook his hand vigorously. "Son, you didn't have to do this. You're incredible." Son. They called him son. But me. I was standing there like furniture. "My parents disowned me because of you," I whispered, barely breathing. "And now they love you more than they ever loved me." Jason turned to me slowly, and for a moment, I thought he would pull me close and make everything okay. But instead, his eyes looked different. Colder. Distant. Like someone I didn't know. "Emily, maybe you should let the past go." "What?" I blinked. And then he said the sentence that shattered me. "We need a break." The world stopped. "A break," my voice cracked. "Jason, you're joking." "I'm not," he said softly. I think I've outgrown this relationship." My mother gasped. My father froze. And I felt like the air had been ripped out of my lungs. "You're leaving me," I whispered. Jason didn't answer. He didn't have to. Because the truth was already written across his face. The boy my parents hated. The boy I sacrificed everything for. The boy I stood by when he had nothing. Had just dumped me. Right there. In front of the two people who had thrown me out because of him. And that was the moment my heart broke in a way I didn't know was possible. But what happened next? No one, especially not Jason, saw it coming. I didn't remember falling to my knees, but suddenly the cold driveway was pressing into my skin, and my hands were shaking so hard I could barely breathe. Everything around me blurred. The new house, the sun, the fresh paint smell, my parents staring at me like I was a stranger. I heard Mom whisper, "Emily, stand up. You're embarrassing yourself." Embarrassing myself. After everything they had done. After everything I had sacrificed. Jason took one small step back from me, like I was something dangerous, a problem he didn't want anymore. "Jason," I choked out, "please don't do this." He looked away, his jaw tight. "I'm sorry, Em. I didn't plan for it to happen like this. I need space." Space. A word that felt like a slap. My dad cleared his throat. Awkward and stiff. "Emily, maybe you two should talk privately, not here." But Jason shook his head. "No, it's better this way." Better for who? Because it sure wasn't better for me. I tried to stand, but my legs felt like wet paper. When I finally pushed myself upright, my eyes burned so badly from crying that every blink felt like sand scraping across my skin. "You're leaving me," I whispered again, wanting him to deny it. "After everything, after all we went through." Jason's face softened for a second, and I saw a flicker of the boy I once loved. The boy who held me through cold nights, who promised me the world when we ate dollar store noodles on the floor of our tiny apartment. But then it disappeared. He exhaled sharply. "Emily, we grew apart, you know that. I changed. You stayed the same." Stayed the same. Like that was some kind of crime. "I supported you," I said. "When everyone else turned their backs, I stood beside you." "I know," he said quietly, "but I can't keep living in the past." My mother stepped closer to him, not me, and touched his shoulder gently. "Honey, you don't have to explain to her. You've done enough." "Honey." She called him honey. I felt something in me rip, like a thread snapping. Suddenly, it wasn't just heartbreak. It was betrayal layered upon betrayal. I swallowed hard, forcing myself to breathe. You two disowned me because of him, I said to my parents, my voice trembling. And now you're siding with him while he dumps me in front of you. My dad glanced away, guilt flickering across his face. But my mother. She folded her arms and raised her chin. You chose him over us, Emily. Actions have consequences. Jason looked between us awkwardly. I didn't mean to cause drama. I just came to give them the house keys and... I snapped my head toward him. The house, I repeated slowly, as if the word itself tasted bitter. You bought them a house while planning to leave me. Jason didn't answer. That silence was louder than any confession. My heart thudded painfully. I backed away step by step, the world spinning. The sun felt too bright. The air felt too heavy. I finally reached the sidewalk and wiped my cheeks with the back of my hand, realizing I was shaking all over. Jason took a hesitant step toward me. But I lifted my hand. Don't, I whispered. Don't come any closer. He stopped. My voice rose even though my throat was burning. Just tell me why. Why now? Why after you finally made it? Why do this to me? He hesitated for a long moment. Then he said the one thing that destroyed every memory we ever shared. Because I don't need you the way I used to. The breath left my lungs. My mother gasped. My father muttered something under his breath. But me. I felt like my soul cracked in two. Jason didn't wait for my response. He turned, walked up the driveway, and handed my dad an envelope, something thick, maybe documents or instructions. Then he walked back to his truck. He didn't look at me. Not once. Not even for a second. The engine rumbled. The tires rolled. And within moments, he was gone. Just like that. The boy I lost my family for. The boy I believed in when the whole world mocked him. Had abandoned me the moment success lifted him away. My knees buckled again, but I forced myself to stay standing. Mom stepped closer, but not to hug me, not to comfort me, not to take me home. She just sighed. You should go, Emily. There's no reason for you to be here anymore. No reason. My dad didn't say anything at all. I turned away before they could see more tears fall. I started walking, even though I had no clue where to go. I didn't have a car right now. Jason had driven us. My apartment was far from their neighborhood. I didn't have money for an Uber. My phone battery was at 4%. But I walked anyway, my arms wrapped around myself, the wind cold against my wet cheeks. Cars passed. People stared. I kept moving. At some point, my phone vibrated. A message from a number I didn't save, but I recognized the area code. Jason. I opened it with trembling fingers. I'm sorry. That was all. 2 words. 2 useless, empty words after years of sacrifice. I kept walking until my feet hurt, the sun faded, and the streetlights came on. My phone died. I was alone, truly alone. But then something strange happened. A black SUV slowed beside me, driving carefully to match my pace. The window rolled down, and a familiar male voice called my name. Emily, is that you? I froze. My heart jumped. Because the voice belonged to someone I hadn't seen in years. Someone who once meant almost as much to me as Jason did. When I heard my name from the SUV, I stopped walking even though my legs wanted to keep moving. The car door opened, and a tall figure stepped out, his shadow long under the streetlight. Emily, the voice said again, softer now. It took me a moment, but then it hit me. Tyler, I whispered. Tyler Brooks. My childhood best friend. The boy who lived across the street from us for years. The boy who used to carry my school backpack because it was too heavy for a princess. The boy who confessed his feelings to me the night before he moved away. And the same boy I never gave a chance because I met Jason the week after. I blinked hard, thinking my tears were making me hallucinate. But it was really him. Older, taller, broader shoulders, a neat beard, a warm expression that hit me straight in the chest. "What are you doing out here alone?" he asked, stepping closer. His eyes scanned my face with concern. Emily, you look like you've been crying for hours." I let out a weak laugh that cracked halfway. "That's because I have." Without asking, he shrugged off his jacket and placed it around my shoulders. It smelled like clean laundry and a hint of cologne, nothing like the past I had walked away from. "Come on," he said gently. "Get in the car." I didn't argue. I didn't have the strength to. Inside the SUV, warmth filled my frozen fingers. I stared at my hands while Tyler drove slowly. "You don't have to tell me what happened," he said quietly, "but I'm here whenever you're ready." Something about his voice, it felt safe, like a blanket I forgot I needed. And suddenly, the words poured out of me. "My parents disowned me," I said, my voice trembling. "And today, Jason dumped me in front of them, the same Jason I left everything for." Tyler's hands tightened around the steering wheel. "He dumped you, after everything you did for him." I nodded, swallowing hard. "He bought my parents a house but left me." Silence filled the car, heavy, thick, angry. Tyler finally spoke. "Then he doesn't deserve you. None of them do." I wiped my face. I don't know what to do now. "You start over," he said, pulling into a quiet parking lot near a diner. He turned off the engine and faced me fully. "But this time, you don't start alone." His words cracked something inside me, but not in a painful way, in a healing way. He reached into the back seat and pulled out a brown paper bag. "I was actually on my way home from visiting my mom," he said with a small smile. "I bought 2 burgers. You want one?" I let out a small, choking laugh. "Tyler, I look like a disaster." "Good," he said. "I bought messy burgers." I laughed again, really laughed, and it felt like the first time in forever. We ate in the car. We talked. We sat in silence when the tears came back, and Tyler never rushed me, never asked for anything, never acted awkward. He was simply there. When we finished eating, he cleared his throat. I know this is a crazy time, but I need to tell you something." I turned toward him slowly. He took a breath. "I came back to town because I bought a small property here. I'm opening a workshop, auto repair and custom builds. Business has been good the last few years." I stared at him. You're doing well." He nodded. "Very well, actually." Then his voice softened. "But the truth is, that's not the only reason I came back." My heart thudded. He continued. "I wanted to see you. Even after all these years, I never forgot you, not once." My breath caught. He wasn't saying it like Jason used to, full of big dreams and empty promises. Tyler's voice was steady, real, honest. I looked at him, really looked at him, and the weight of everything I had lost didn't feel so suffocating anymore. "Emily," he said carefully, "I know you're hurting, and I'm not asking for anything right now. But I want you to know this, you're not alone. You have me. If you want. In any way you want." My eyes filled again, but this time the tears felt different, lighter, warmer. "Tyler, thank you," I whispered. He nodded slowly. "Come stay at my place tonight. You can take the bedroom. I'll take the couch. No pressure, no expectations, just safety." I hesitated, but only for a second. "Okay," I whispered. He drove us carefully, glancing at me every few minutes like he was making sure I wouldn't fade away. When we reached his small but cozy home, he unlocked the door and handed me a blanket, water, and some spare clothes from his sister's old bag. The room was simple, warm, safe. I sat on the bed trembling, overwhelmed by everything. Jason leaving. My parents rejecting me. Tyler showing up out of nowhere like an answered prayer I didn't know I needed. When Tyler brought a cup of hot chocolate with tiny marshmallows floating on top, I nearly cried again. He set it on the bedside table. "If you need anything," he whispered, "I'm right outside." He turned to leave. But something made me reach out and grab his hand. "Stay," I whispered, "just for a minute." He sat beside me, not too close, not too far. His warmth was steady. His presence was quiet but powerful. For the first time since Jason walked away, my heart felt like it was being stitched back together thread by thread. Tyler whispered, "Everything you lost today, you'll get something better, I promise." I leaned my head on his shoulder. And for the first time in a long, long time, I believed it. The next morning, something happened that changed everything again. Something I never expected. Something that would force me to face the past one last time. But this time, I wasn't facing it alone. Thanks for watching. Kindly drop your comment about this video. And please subscribe to this channel for more interesting stories.